they talk to each other, they talk to themselves, or they talk to themself. Are they all correct? Well, in this video, you're going to find out, and I think the answer will surprise you. These words, and all these others, are called reflexive pronouns, and most intermediate English learners make lots of mistakes with these words. But don't worry, it's really easy, and in this lesson I'm going to teach you exactly how to use them, the different ways we can use them, when we must not use them, and I'll also show you a really common mistake that even educated native speakers make with these reflexive pronouns. So, by the end of this lesson, you're going to know this bit of grammar even better than a lot of native speakers. Isn't that cool? Are you ready? So what are reflexive pronouns? Well, when we say reflexive pronouns, we're talking about these little grammar words. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Reflexive pronouns show that the subject and the object of the verb are the same person. So we use them when the person doing the action is also the person receiving the action. Let me show you a quick example to show you what I mean. I cut an apple. Okay, here I am doing the action and the apple is receiving the action. In other words, I am the subject and the apple is the object. But look at this. I cut myself. Yeah. So here, I am doing the action, but also I am receiving the action. I am the subject and I am the object. And that's exactly when we need reflexive pronouns. Another couple of examples are, she blamed herself, and also they looked at themselves in the mirror. They looked in the mirror, and what did they see? They saw them, but we can't say them because it's the same person doing and receiving the action, so we say themselves. And yeah, that's really important to know that in these situations, when the subject and the object are the same person or the same people, you must use the reflexive form, and you must never use the normal form. Okay? So it's not I cut me. No, it's I cut myself. It's not she blamed her. No. And it's not they looked at them in the mirror, but it's they looked at themselves in the mirror. Now that is quite simple, right? But that is not all we use reflexive pronouns for. And I'll tell you a few more reasons right now. But before I do, if you don't know me, I'm Greg, and I've helped thousands of students just like you to reach an advanced level of English fluency through my online courses and on this YouTube channel, where I publish a new grammar video every Friday. So if you want an advanced level of English, make sure you subscribe. And you might think I got the inspiration for this video from my finger. I didn't. I got the inspiration because this bit of grammar is in the new version of my ebook, English Quick Fix, which I am currently developing. The original version has over 100,000 downloads, so I thought it would be a good time to update it and make it better, make it newer, and you can now download this new version with this and 16 other quick fixes to reach an advanced level of English by clicking up there, or by scanning the code, or by clicking the link in the description. And when you do, I will also send you all my free worksheets that I offer with every new video every Friday. You're gonna love it. Okay, now, another use of these reflexive pronouns is to add emphasis. So look at this. I'll do it myself. Here we are adding emphasis to the fact that I'll do it. We use I, blah, 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 myself to really emphasize and accentuate the fact that not another person, but me. I'll do it. Here's another example. She decorated the room herself. In other words, another person didn't do it. It wasn't her brother or her dad or the neighbor. No, she did it. She decorated it. She decorated the room herself. We fixed the car ourselves. Okay, we did it. We didn't send it to a mechanic. We did it. And this is a really, really common way of using reflexive pronouns in English. And it's the kind of thing that if you use it, it will make your speech really clear and advanced. So it's a really cool bit of grammar to use. But do be careful, because you do not want to confuse this with by myself, or by himself, by herself. Because if you do something by yourself, it means that you do it alone. Okay? Without anybody else. Nobody was there. Only you. For example, I fixed the bike myself. I did it. Another person didn't do it. I did it. And we are emphasizing the fact that I did it. But I fixed the bike by myself. This means that I did it alone. Nobody was watching. Nobody helped me. It was only me. Let's have a look at another example where you can see the two structures side by side. She made dinner herself. In other words, she was the person who cooked. She didn't get a pizza delivered. Nobody else cooked. No, she cooked. She made dinner herself, but she ate dinner by herself. This means she ate alone. There was only one person at the table, her. Maybe she lives by herself. She lives alone. Okay, so very similar, but have quite different meanings. Now, there is a huge mistake that I need to talk to you about, and this is common especially among intermediate learners, and I'm talking about things like this. Romeo and Juliet loved themselves. Right? No. No, because themselves means that you are doing the action and you are receiving the action. In other words, if Romeo loves himself, Romeo loves Romeo. If Romeo and Juliet love themselves, Romeo loves Romeo and Juliet loves Juliet. And that's not exactly what Shakespeare wrote. No, what you want to say is Romeo and Juliet loved each other. Okay, Romeo loved Juliet and Juliet loved Romeo. It was reciprocal. They loved each other. Now, the reason I've chosen Romeo and Juliet is because it's a great example so you can see the difference. Because Romeo and Juliet loved each other, but Romeo and Juliet tragically killed themselves. Romeo killed Romeo. Juliet killed Juliet. They killed themselves, but they loved each other. Okay? Nobody can explain the difference between each other and themselves better than Romeo and Juliet. Okay, I'm going to tell you about itself and also the super big common mistake that educated native speakers make. It makes me so angry. But before I do, let me just tell you something really important. In English, there are some verbs which almost always take the reflexive form. They're verbs like hurt, I hurt myself, cut, she cut herself, blame, he blamed himself, enjoy, we enjoyed ourselves, introduce, let me introduce myself. But do be careful, because I know there are some languages that use reflexive pronouns way more than English. And here are some examples where we don't use the reflexive pronoun in English. So with the verb marry, it's not they married themselves. No, it's they got married. It's not he shaved himself. No, we normally say he had a shave. She woke herself up. No, we say she woke up. Okay, so do be careful with that. Okay, just one thing I want to tell you now before the big mistake, which is this word, itself. Because it's not only people who do actions, organizations and objects can also both do and receive actions. So when we talk about an organization or an object, like the company, we need itself. The company reinvented itself. The company is not a male or female thing, so we need itself. The automatic car crashed itself. Again, the automatic car is not a he or a she, it's an it. So we need to say itself. And my phone updated itself while I was sleeping. Okay, as with the previous two examples, my phone both did and received the action. So we use itself. Okay, now for the super common mistake that native speakers make. Are you ready? Themself? Well, actually, no, that is correct. Even though some people look at this and think, wait, what? Them is a plural, so it should be themselves. But no, imagine the phone rings and my wife answers and she says, it's someone from the gas company. I say to her, oh, okay, what do they want? You see, I don't know whether she's talking to a man or a woman. So I can't say, what does he want or what does she want? I have to say, what do they want? It's like an impersonal third person singular. Now, if we are using the reflexive form of that, we have to use themself. Because I don't know if it's a himself or a herself, but I do know that it's a self and not a selves. And that's why we use themself. So I could say, oh, my wife told me that someone from the gas company called and they hurt themselves while they were speaking. Yeah, it might seem weird, but it's correct. Okay, so if that wasn't the big mistake that native speakers make, what is it? Well, native speakers often say things like this. The reason they do this is actually to try to sound more formal. But actually, they're just saying incorrect English. This is what they do. Feel free to contact John or myself if you have any further questions. So you feel free to contact John or myself? No! Myself is not a fancy, clever, formal way of saying me. Feel free to contact John or me if you have any questions. And you often hear this too. I'm serious. People say, how are you? And the other person says, very well, thanks. And yourself? And yourself. No, we don't need a reflexive here. It's wrong, it drives me crazy, and it's not a fancy way of saying me, you, him. No, it's just something totally different, okay? So don't copy the native speakers who say that. And now you've learned all this, your English grammar related to this is better than a lot of native speakers. So congratulations. And if you're interested in 14 more criminal grammar mistakes that native speakers make, watch that video there. You won't believe some of them. Okay, there's the new ebook. Thanks for watching and bye for now.